Hello and welcome to another video in Making Sense of Multiple Sclerosis with me, Shirley, and today I'm going to talk about where to go to find out information about your multiple sclerosis, where to get advice, where to ask questions, and where to get reliable information. I wanted to talk about where we're resourcing our advice and our information for our MS because it's so important. I had somebody just recently, when I posted my video in a social media page for MS, a lady commented underneath and she said, I want to know where the information from this video came from before I even click on it. And some people would get offended at that kind of statement, but I actually thought, that is exactly the type of attitude we should all have. We should all be being super careful about where we resource our facts and our data for anything, not just MS, but specifically when it comes to MS, we really need to be so careful about whose advice we're taking on board and where that advice is coming from. So here's just a small, quick kind of hit list of some of my suggestions, and I'll link everything below so you can look at it for yourself, as I always do, because you can be the best judge of things. And it kind of helped me to narrow down where I need to resource the information, because I would hate for you to be misled anywhere. And it happens all the time. And just because somebody's on YouTube or has a website that comes up maybe 4th or 5th in line on Google, these analytics and search engine optimization techniques that people use to come up really early in searches are strategic. So just because someone has good strategy and tech savvy does not mean that their advice should be heeded, me included. So just a little side note there. So the first thing to think about is, where do we go? And my son was just telling me a story the other day about something that he had read. He said, it was in an article, Mum. It was in an article. You should see it because it was actually written by someone. And I said, yes, but what company or what paper or, what organisation wrote it? And he was like, I don't know, but there was a logo and stuff at the top of the page, and, there was information there. So, and there was someone had written it, like a journalist maybe. And I kind of chuckled to myself a little bit and I said, okay, well, show me that. So we went through the article and we looked at the organisation that wrote it, who the author was and all of that good stuff. And it turned out to be a very unfounded, no background, no proof, no evidence, no study, nothing surrounding it. It was very much just written from somebody's point of view, very subjective. And he thought, as a child, and that doesn't mean we think like children, but if you're somebody who's maybe none the wiser to that kind of strategy, that kind of fake news culture, then you would perhaps believe that and take that on board. And so I had to explain to him, whenever you look for some information, especially online, the first thing you want to do is look for who wrote it and what their background is and who the organisation is that's helping to publish that, if there is one. Because otherwise you really don't know if what you're reading has any kind of backing. So I had to scale that down, obviously, and explain that to him, and I hope it made sense to him, but he gets that there's a lot of fake news and a lot of rubbish and trash and propaganda and things that are posted online. So I guess the first thing I want to mention is the dangers of Google. Google is a great tool for everything. I think on average I must Google something 4 or 5 times a day, different things, whether it be a recipe, or this morning I had to Google, do toads hibernate? Because we found a toad in our hen coop, and I thought, oh my god, the girls will just rip that thing apart, I need to get it out. And completely unrelated to this video, but just to prove that a lot of us Google things every day, and it's a great tool. But what we need to be careful about is what Google retrieves and how to filter through that information to know whether that information is in fact viable. So the biggest thing there is what comes up, who's written it, what's their background, what is their agenda, because there often is an agenda. Is it to push themselves? Is it like a YouTuber? Like, I don't like to think of myself as a YouTuber because I like to think about what I do as something that helps others, and I'm not looking to gain profit from that, or, I'm not constantly pushing on you like, subscribe, click the bell, blah, blah, blah. If you do, that's great. But, that's not what I'm aiming for. You can see a lot about someone who might be pushing certain things by the language that they use and what they keep asking you to do. Are they looking for money in return for you? For them giving you their videos? I don't know. There's just so many things. And what is their qualification and their background? Do they have the education and the knowledge of MS to be able to offer you professional advice? And if they do, in what capacity and to what extent? I do a lot of things on psychology because I am a psychology student. I was originally a school teacher and moved into all sorts of other work after that, and decided I wanted to push along with psychology, and went back to uni, or college as Americans call it, to do psychology, and I'm really enjoying that. So I take a lot of that to share with others, so they can get it for free and I break the bank instead. But what you'll notice when you put anything in a Google title with MS or multiple sclerosis, very quickly you'll notice the first ones that tend to come up are the MS Society, MS Trust, and dependent on your country, usually for UK it's NHS, the National Health System, and it comes up with, you know, informational web pages about MS. The other thing that will oftentimes come up are the more commonly sourced and fairly reliable websites such as Healthline or WebMD. But the safest way to kind of cope with the abundance of information that comes back to you through web searches is to stick with the more well-established websites. A lot of things will come up, and a lot of it will be very helpful, and a lot of it will be really good. But there does have to be a huge amount of care taken on our parts not to absorb complete and utter rubbish, because it's out there. And that again is very subjective. MS is different in everyone, and everybody treats their MS differently, everyone experiences their MS differently, therefore everyone's course of treatment and actions towards feeling better in life will be different. You know, even within the scientific or academic communities, there's a large amount of papers, research papers and studies that are done and published about MS. So if you're academic, you'll know about how these papers work and how they have to be something that's called peer reviewed. And essentially what that means is the material that we write, the studies or the research papers, it kind of serves as a form of self-regulation, so that members, common members of a specific profession or relevant field can assess what you've written. So if even people who are super duper qualified and write amazing papers have to seek almost acceptance and review from other people within that academic field, it shows how stringent and how careful we are within a very academic environment to make sure the information that we are sending to people and sharing with the public is indeed factual and helpful and accurate. If only we did all that when we looked for things in Google. Not everybody has to go through that stringent review. Anybody can open a web page. Anybody can put a doctor before their name on a TikTok channel. Some of them have alternative and supplementary therapies that are amazing and contribute in a fantastic way to our lives when we're living with MS. But some of them are just unbelievable. And the sad thing is, when you feel vulnerable and you feel scared and you're worried about your health, you're at your most primed vulnerable state to absorb and be an easy target without even realising it. It's not saying that you're stupid, it's not to say that you are, easily fooled, but when you're vulnerable, you will indeed be more susceptible to the techniques and the tactics that some people use. And the agenda is always fame and money, and, it's always money to try and get you on board. And I really don't want for you to fall down that rabbit hole. I want for you to get the treatment that you need in the way that you need it in the time that you need it, not through doctor someone or other who probably isn't even a doctor. And just because it's online doesn't mean it's the truth. So what if we find a website or a organisation or a person that we find to be particularly inspirational, and we think, all these things that they're suggesting sound like common sense, they sound like good practice. What's wrong with me going along with that? Well, the answer is nothing. But everybody's perception of common sense is completely different. So the one thing I would say is do a bit of investigation for yourself. Always run by whatever you are looking at or considering in your treatment with your neurologist or your doctor or your MS nurse, whatever medical professional that you liaise with on a regular basis. Run that by them and see what they think about it. And to be fair, a lot of medical professionals do roll their eyes, and when you talk about, healthy eating and blah, 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 they are all very cynical. And that's not to say that these things don't work, but they're used to seeing the plethora of charlatans out there who claim to be able to offer you some sort of expertise at no cost to you, but there's something there. There's always an agenda. You can tell I'm quite cynical, but I have seen some horrific tomfoolery, and it's people who are vulnerable with MS that fall victim of it, and that's why I'm so staunchly against it. So what type of people am I talking about when it comes to what to watch out for? Now bear in mind that these examples I'm about to show you are a little bit in jest and they're for fun, so don't get offended, because I probably have listened to quite a few people that fall under these categories. But I'll give you a rough overview of exactly what I mean.
Hello, I am Dr. Fungus, and I can cure your MS with just two things. Prunes, and of course, chickpeas. Follow me for more information. Now, the fact that your MS and my MS are totally different is irrelevant. This kind of healing works for everyone. You don't need no medicine. You don't need no special diets. All you need is to center yourself, think positive thoughts. Oh, and get yourself a tambourine. It works! Welcome to Healing from MS channel, and I'm going to show you today how I make a mug of hot water. I put a pinch of salt in it, I find a dirty sock, I put it in, and I swiggle it around, and I drink it, and suddenly I have no MS. Now you see the chickpeas are the magical ingredient. They magically remyelinate your nerves, so it's just fantastic. Chickpeas, my method works. And the prunes, of course, the prunes are because nobody with MS has regular bowel movements, so that helps everyone regardless. Subscribe and sign up for my £4,000 project. Can't say this doesn't work, because I was in a wheelchair last week, and now look at this tambourine. I am dancing around. It's all good.
For me, it's all about Shetland pony urine. That works wonders. It really does get rid of our MS. It's all down to the Shetland ponies. We really are very lucky. Very lucky indeed, yes.
Very know my stuff, you know? Very smart. So do what I do, you'll be fine, yes?
Shetland pony urine. It works wonders. It really does.
So hopefully you realise that a lot of that video was in jest. And that it's just important for you to really know what you're looking for, really know where to find it, and understand that not everybody's view is going to be the right view, but it comes down to science and facts. What's been proven, what actually works, and are the sources and the authors reliable sources and authors. And it's up to you to make that decision, and it's not up to any of us, regardless of how silly we might be in something like this, to judge someone else's choice. What works for them may not work for you, so just be careful and take your time, and remember that you are never ever alone, and I mean that. I'll see you next time. Bye.